Welcome back to my kitchen, or welcome if you are new. My name is Bethany, or Budget Bethany, and I like to share these What's for Dinner videos with y'all every single week in hopes to give y'all some meal ideas or some inspiration to cook for your family at home as well. But without further ado, y'all, let's get on into this video and get into some cooking. Y'all, so to kick off this week's What's for Dinner video, we're going to make some barbecue chicken wings, some green beans, and some homemade macaroni and cheese. So to season up my chicken wings, I'm going to season it up with some Badia, some soul food seasoning, and this Chef Paul whatever magic seasoning that I found at Piggly Wiggly. It's actually really good. It's really good on chicken. So I'm just seasoning up my chicken wings, and I'm getting my grease hot so I can start frying those up. Once you get those chicken wings all fried up and good and crispy, you're going to place those in a separate bowl and you're going to dump on some barbecue sauce. Of course, you can use whatever kind of barbecue sauce you prefer, but we had this Walmart Great Value brand in the honey flavor, and Jackson's just dumping that on top of them. Jackson is helping me right here, so he's just dumping that barbecue sauce on there, and then we're going to put the lid on it and we're going to shake it up in this bowl. So, of course, you want a bowl with a lid on it. So for the macaroni, I just boiled up some the small shell noodles, and I'm adding in some butter, like 2 tablespoons, and then I'm going to add in some milk, maybe, I don't know, maybe a half a cup, if that, and then I'm going to cut in some Velveeta cheese, and I like to cut mine in smaller pieces just so that it melts faster. I also throw in some shredded cheddar cheese that I had left over in a package that I need to be used up, so I throw that in there, but you can never go wrong with more cheese because the cheesier the better with me. If you've been hanging out with me for a little while, then you know I just opened up a can of green beans and dump in some of the real bacon bit pieces things. It's not actual bacon bits, it's like real bacon pieces. I dumped that in there and cooked that down, and then here is our plate all plated up together. That was dinner for this night, y'all. Okay, so for the dinner on the next night was actually part of a separate video, and I'll link that video down below if you're interested in checking it out. It was like a get it all done video, and I cooked dinner and all kind of other stuff that day. But all this is some roast beef dippers. So I've got some roast beef that I tore in half. I'm wrapping it in some crescent rolls, and I'm adding some stick cheese to it. Then you just roll that up. You pop that in the oven on 350, or by the directions on the back of the crescent roll packages. I made some hamburger helper, and I cooked that by the directions on the box. I made some au jus gravy. That's for dipping the crescent roll things in, and that was dinner on this night, y'all. So the next night was also part of a separate video, and I'll have that link down below if you're interested in that as well. But it was a catch and cook video where we went on our fishing trip, and then when we come back home, we cook our dinner. Right here you see some catfish that we have from a past fishing trip, so we're just cooking that up because it needed to be cooked up. But we're also going to cook our white perch that we caught in our fishing trip from that day. Right here's my husband frying up everything. We had some french fries and some hush puppies to go with our fish, and that was dinner on this night for us, y'all. So on the next night, it was Super Bowl night, and I've got some wild hog right here. If you've been with me for a little while, then you know my husband is a hunter and fisherman, and we have lots of wild game in our freezer that we use up pretty regularly. So I'm just browning up some of the wild hog right there, and it was actually 2 pounds. I saved the rest for another night, and you'll see that in the video, or coming up in this video in just a little bit. But right here, I'm making some Rotel dip for the Super Bowl, and I just cut up a block of cream cheese, and I maybe a quarter of the Velveeta cheese block, and I'm adding in a can of Rotel, and then in just a little bit, I'll add in some of that ground brown sausage. So I did cook mine on high just because I was trying to hurry up and get dinner done on this night, but I do come back every so often and mix it up and make sure all the cheese is melting and everything's getting incorporated together. We also had some little smokies, so I'm just dumping in one of these big bags of little smokies, and I'm going to add in about a cup of brown sugar and about maybe a cup of ketchup. And I usually add some Worcestershire sauce, but for some reason I was out and didn't even notice it, so I didn't add it in this time. And it doesn't really change the flavor that much. It does, you can't tell if it's in there if it ain't. But that's how I make my little smokies. And this is how my grandma taught me, and that's how I always made them. I know some people make them with grape jelly and just barbecue sauce, but this is how we like ours. This was the Super Bowl. I think I already mentioned that on this night. So I'm making lots of snacky type items for this dinner on this night. Made a dill pickle cheese ball on this night, and all you'll need is one block of cream cheese and about half of this 2-cup size of mild shredded cheddar cheese. I don't know exact measurements, but I know it's a 2 cups package. And I cut up a whole bunch of the hamburger dill pickles, put that in my bowl, and I'm going to use my mixer and mix it all up really well. Once I get it all mixed up really well, I'm going to get some plastic wrap, and I'm going to dump all the cheese mixture on it and roll it up into a ball. And here is our Super Bowl spread. I think finger foods are my absolute favorite type of food. I love snacky kind of dinners. They're just my favorite. I don't know, y'all. We also ordered some pizza from Pizza Hut to go with our finger foods and our fruits. I just diced up a pineapple and cut up some strawberries to go with the rest of our stuff, and that was our Super Bowl spread, and that was our dinner on that night. Moving right along to the next night, I saved some of that ground sausage that I shared earlier with that I made the Velveeta dip with, and we're going to make some sausage gravy biscuits. So I got those Great Value frozen biscuits. I got these 2 packs of the country gravy mix, and then my browned up sausage. I'm just going to heat that sausage back up, mix in those packets of white gravy, and I'm going to bake my biscuits in the oven by the directions on the back of the package, and that's going to be dinner, y'all. Alrighty, so moving right along. On this night, we had some pulled pork, and I've just got a fresh pork Boston butt in the crock pot that I cooked on high for about 6 hours. This was one of our fresh hogs that we had processed, so I'm just boiling that, and once it's done, I'm going to take it out and we're going to shred it up. whenever I make that fresh pulled pork, I always like to make my own barbecue sauce. So I'm just dumping in about a cup of brown sugar and some ketchup. My mama called in the middle of it, so I had to cut that off, and then I cut it back on and showing y'all I added just a little bit of ketchup. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more because it wasn't quite enough, and then I'm going to add some mustard. We're going to give that a stir, and then we're going to pour that over our pulled pork. Okay, so to serve the pulled pork, I'm going to boil some potatoes, and we're going to have like barbecue potatoes or loaded potatoes, whatever you guys call it. I don't know. It's called different things different places. So I just cut it open once the tater gets done, and I put some of that pulled pork on there with some sour cream and some shredded cheddar cheese, and that was dinner for that night, y'all. All right, y'all, so we're rolling up on the last meal idea for this week's What's for Dinner. So I'm right here, I'm showing y'all some seasonings that I'm using to season up my ribs with. These are country style ribs, and I'm just putting them in the oven on this bacon rack to keep them from sitting in like juices and all, because I hate it like that. And I just covered them with barbecue sauce. This was like Great Value store barbecue sauce, y'all. I can't even think about what I'm saying. And I got a fun little story I want to tell you. I was talking to my neighbor the other day, and she told me, or she asked me if I've ever tried the wash day special. So I was like, no, because I didn't know what the wash day special was. Well, the wash day special is baked beans with cut up hot dogs. And I know I have tried it before. My grandma used to make it all the time for us when we were little. But whenever she was little, her mama would make this wash day special because that was the day that they had to wash clothes. And y'all know they washed clothes on the washboard back then. So her mama would make this easy dinner for them. And that's what they'd have for dinner on wash day. I thought that was a really good story to share with y'all. But there's our ribs, and then there's my tater salad. And I shared my tater salad recipe with y'all many times, but I'll link it down below if you're interested in it. But I want to say thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye, y'all.